Hey guys, Akash here. So till now we had discussed around conditions like if-else condition, and we see how if we can write a if-else condition block and achieve some desired task out of it. In today's video, we will look around logical operators. These are AND or OR operator. So if you are familiar with mathematics, you know that we have and OR as conditional operator over there also. Now we will see how this AND or OR operator works in our case in JavaScript here. So first, let's see what is a logical AND operator. So an AND operator, if we have two conditions like A and B, if we have two cases A and B. So if we say A and B, A, this AND over here belongs to logical AND, right? By mean what we are saying is both A and B should return a if both are true, then only this logical AND will result as a true. What I'm saying is, if we put and AND operator in between two cases, if both two are true, then only we will get a true out of it, else we will get a false. So here in this table, if A is true and B also true, then only we will get a true. Else, if A is true, B is false, we will get a false. It overall becomes a false. If A is false, B is true, then only we will get false because if any of these is a false, then we will get a false. If both these two are false, then obviously we will get a false. So this is the simple explanation around AND operator. What AND operators is, whenever we use such an operator, it will check for both values are if both the values left side or right side are true or not. If any of these value has a falsy value, in that case it will return a false over there. Now if we see as logical OR, so it's just opposite to logical AND. If any of these A or B, if any case is true, then it will return true. I mean, it doesn't want both the values to be true. If any of these values, if it get one true, then it will return a true. By mean, if A and B both are true, obviously it's a true. If A is true, B is false, then only it will be true because it here we have a true value over here. So it will look for one true only. In if one condition gets satisfied, then it will return a true. If both are false, then only it will return a false. Don't be hesitate around that you know this is not a mathematics class or something. We need to work on these two operators a lot in our coding sessions, so we will match up and we will find uh, a lot easier. I mean, this explanation might seem to you like it's hard, but it's not really that hard. You will get comfortable with it once you start coding. So in that case, we will see some examples over here. Here, I just comment or remove the comment. What I'm saying is there is a variable A that has a value true and another variable B has a value false. Similarly, there's a variable called D has a value true. So remove this first. I'm saying if I'm putting a symbol in C, I'm putting like this A and B. So this and is a logical AND operator of this table. Here we are talking about this logical AND. So how we represent it in the JavaScript? By using two and symbols. And where will you find these symbols? On your keyboard, on key 7. Okay. Now, as we had discussed earlier, if there is an and operator used between two values, then they both should be a true the value. So in this example over here, we had A, that is a true, but B is a false. Because not both the values are true, in that case, in our C, we will get a, what do you say? A falsy value because B is false. Let's see. It's video 6, right? So we'll type node v6.js. Yeah, as you can see, it's a false. Now, similarly, if we see A and D with it, what we are doing now is we are putting A and then D. As we can see over here, both are true, right? A is a true the value and B is also a true the value. In that case, in our C, we will get a true the value. And this console confirms our, statement. Here, you can remember this table and simply remember the concept I'm telling you that any of these values, I mean, if these two values are compared with and operator, if any of these values gets a falsy value, then it will return a false. If both are true, then only it will return a true. As simple as that. Now, let's see another operator in E, I guess. And we will put A or D. So what is or operator? We had discussed it that logical or in this table will return a true if it gets any value true. I mean, if we put logical or in between two variables or two set of cases, if any of them gets a true, then it will return a true. If both are false, then only it will return a false. So in our case, if we what should be in E, because if we look at A, it is a true, and if it will look at D, it's also a true. So we know that if any of these are true, then we'll get a true the value over here. Or in this particular case, both are true, then obviously we'll get a true. So let's see if we get a true. Yeah, it's a true. Now checks our other statement, which B with B. So what is the condition becomes now? A is a true, right? And B is a false. But as we had discussed earlier, if we get one true out of it, then it will return a true. We don't care about other values. If we get one true, then it will return as a true. So in our case, here A is a true that we are looking for. So we will get a true out of it. As you can see, it's a true. Now let's complicate this with other conditions also. Like we can chain it up. Like we can put another or operator, and we can now put D also, and let's say another variable we will create like X, and we will put let X is also true. Now if we see a statement like this, I mean if we had written a statement like this, what will happen? All of these are OR conditions, like OR operators. As you can see, double, this double symbol, where it is? It is near the braces, curly braces. So you can find it in your keyboard, obviously. Now, here we can subdivide these two, I mean, group them. We can group them. First, we will see if A and B, if any of these are true the value or not. So A is a true, but B is a false. No matter, because A or B will return a true over here, right? Because it gets a true the value, and that's it looking for. So in A and B, from A or B, it will get a true, right? Because both are true. A is true. Forget about B. Now we compare true with D. I mean, A or B become true now, right? It returned true over here. So I can remove this and put true over here, right? Now true or D, because D is a true also, right? In that case, we find one true, another true, and in our case, we need only one true, but we get both true. That's more than enough, right? So now this will become a true. Simply here in X, it's a true, and here the result was true, obviously. Now this will become a true again. So here the executed value will become true. That's how we get our answer in E. Now, what if I put and operator here? First, A and B. This particular condition will be checked. So A is a true, B is a false. But we know that if both are true only, then and will return true. But if any of these is a false, in that case, it will return a false over here. So it will become false, right? Now, false and D. Although D is true, but we are comparing D and false with and. So if any of these get, false, then it will become a false, right? So it will become false over here. Now, if we compare X with false, although X is true, but now we are checking with and operator. In that case, it will become a false again. As simple as that. So this is about the operators, like logical operators. There are two operators only, and or. Now we can see more theory and make some condition out of it, like where we can use it. So here you can see a form over here that says that we need to have all of these IDs to get an admission or somewhere. So we can make a program that sees, like, if the user has PAN card, okay, if the user has license ID, okay, and if the user has admission or not. If user has all these three conditions, I mean, though all the three documents, then only the user is permitted to get a, job or something, whatever you can say. Else it won't. So for checking all these three, how we can check? We can put them in and operator, right? So if all three values are there as a true the values, then our user get admission or not, the job, or if any of these fails, in that case user will get discarded from the process. As you can see in the theory that here this user doesn't have these two things, right? license ID and admission. So what will be the result? I'll get not the admission if I have the PAN card but not license ID. So here only it will reject it because it doesn't have the license ID. It won't check for the admission. And for the this particular user, I'll not get the admission if I haven't a PAN card. So it will check this PAN card first and sees that it's a false only, that it won't check for the other things. You have them or not, doesn't matter. Because you don't have PAN card, you won't get a job. Now, in this particular case only, it will get rejected by the PAN card only. Because the PAN card is not there, then it won't check for the others. And now, if all these three are there, then only the user is permitted. Similarly, here we can see that there is a startup called bike, or any of these, even you can read the particular question. It says if you want to rent a bike, then you need to submit any of the identity document, Aadhaar card, PAN card, or license ID or voter ID. I mean, if you put any of these, I mean, there should be required a one particular thing. I mean, you should have one identity at least. If you have more than one, that's good only, but you need to have one at least. So in that case, if you have one ID, then you will get the bike for the renting system. So if you have Aadhaar card, no need to worry about other things, you will get a bike. If you have Aadhaar card, though, then no worry about others, right? Although you don't have voter ID, in that case you don't need a voter ID because you have a Aadhaar card. If it is a true for the first time, you won't need to check for the others, right? Any of these gets a true, then we will consider it as a true. So here you can see, although this user doesn't have PAN card, but we will get a true because we are checking with OR system. These are the example from which you can think about, I mean, how we will gonna use these particular operators. In our next video, we will see these operators in action. Until then, bye bye.